The only thing, the most important thing you have to learn throughout your teens and your 20s is just how to learn something.
Yeah, the skill of how to learn is the most important thing.
And you can learn that through anything. If you play chess, if you learn an instrument, if you learn how to start a business.
Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda. Hey guys, Happy New Year. We are excited to be in 2023.
We made it. We're alive.
Yeah. Think about it. Kendall, 1 year ago, we did not have a podcast. I had just left my normal job, and we were meeting up in the afternoons just to kind of hang out because, I mean, that's what we normally did when we weren't starting businesses together. So in the last year, we've started this podcast, and that feels pretty good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to have a TikTok following. That part feels weird.
Dude, I still don't even know how to use TikTok. I actually don't know the difference between a reel and a, is it a jig? No, that's an Irish dance. A reel and a,
You really don't know?
Yeah.
Wow. You're putting it on full display.
What's the other one?
A reel on Instagram and a TikTok video?
No, I was thinking like the where you duet it and you pin it.
You duet it and you pin it?
See, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's really bad. I'm not happy about that.
We have a team for that. So I guess in retrospect, here's my thoughts on the podcast. The numbers are smaller than I would have wanted a year in for the long form content. The numbers are probably 20 or 30% bigger than I would have wanted the short term content. I remember thinking I want 20,000 Instagram followers for the podcast if we do this thing. And I was wrong.
It's funny because we got 40,000 TikTok followers.
It's not 40, but yeah, we're beating the numbers on TikTok.
Yeah.
And we are really behind on Instagram. I think the way the algorithm works is just much worse.
I've actually kind of given up on Instagram. I don't really care so much anymore. Yeah, it's more like this is our nice way for people to communicate with us, but we're not growing that, and that's okay.
Yeah, I just feel like the built-in messenger part of it is valuable. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. So here's what we want to do today. We want to go over some numbers, some real honest TikTok and Instagram and how we did it, if we would do it differently kind of thing, numbers. I have some ideas, a little bit of the best of my ideas and a few best of ideas submitted to me. So I'd love to pitch a few of those your way. And then what do you got?
I have a few business ideas. Although I could give you my favorite business idea we did not talk about from that was submitted.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
So Tyler, this person named Tyler found us on Instagram and started DMing our shared account. And I think I was the one policing it that day. And so I start going back and forth with him on his idea to have pneumatic, like air gun, like nail guns.
Yeah.
He wants a belt, like Batman-style belt holster with smaller tanks so he can go around the house and he can go around the shop.
And just nail gun?
Yeah, and without dragging the hose around.
That would work.
Yeah, and then you can swap out when one tank,
that would totally work. We used that with paintball growing up.
True. Yeah, it's basically a paintball-sized tank, and you just like clip it in with like a quick release valve. And the Brad nailers or even a roofing gun, anything that's just like quick pop, pop, pop.
Yeah, I like that. Yep. So did he ever take that anywhere?
No, this is one of those that I'm like, I bet somebody's just squatting on the patent. Oh. That probably exists, but nobody's bringing it to market because the market's small.
It's frustrating. Patent law is...
I hate
I never actually have to deal with it because if there's anything close to it, I just walk away.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like, it can be good psychological safety for the entrepreneur, but it also is really bad for progress.
Have you gone through that process? My friend did, and it was a doozy and expensive, very expensive.
Yeah, we looked at spending $20,000 on a patent. We got like 20% in, and like, nah, it's screw
not worth it.
Yeah, no,
because people can still make it. It's just more fightable, right?
Well, you could
more defensible.
You could get a court to declare that they have to give you all the damages, which is essentially the sales that they made, but the likelihood of that is so low, and the likelihood of them having the money when they're ordered by the court, it kind of just, it's one of those things that for small-time entrepreneurs, anything under like a $5 million a year business, I don't think it makes sense. Like once you start getting into 8 figures, a year, then yeah, you're talking about bigger companies fighting each other,
Yeah.
and they're not gonna go
Definitely.
down the slippery slope of that. But just for entrepreneurs, it's kind of just like, I don't know, make it, go, run, and when you get a cease and desist, stop.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
move on to the next
that's
idea.
true. I totally get that.
Is that
my
bad?
gosh.
It's
No,
illegal. I think what I just said is illegal.
Yeah, but we are not here for legal advice, that's for sure.
We're
And if you think
not
we
a
are, then
lawyer.
you should not be in this business. Okay, Kendall, I want to pitch you. So here's what I did. I was looking back over the new year. First, I want to ask you about resolutions. I have my own feelings. Did you make any New Year's resolutions?
I made some priorities.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
How do you view them? Like, why a priority? Why not a resolution? Why not?
Because it's in my annual break. I get a break for a week around Christmas.
Nice.
Almost 2 weeks this year.
That's great.
And that is really rare. So it's a nice time to reset and restart anyways. So I actually cleared my calendar. You might have gotten some cancellations from me, actually.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I haven't told anybody why or what I'm doing. So literally nobody's received messages from me, just cancellations.
Mm-hmm.
And today is my day, actually, after the recording. I'm going to go actually decide
What do you want?
order I'm flowing my day in. Yeah. So I decided leading the companies are, it's pretty much an exercise in content. So I might as well batch my external content with my internal content because I can just make Loom videos right in that peak brain period where I'm just like, hey, Robin, here's what I am thinking
What's your
about
peak
this.
brain? Like, when's that for you?
It's about 2 hours after I wake up. So it depends on when I'm waking up these days. But so I'm doing fitness stuff at 5:30 in the morning.
Dang.
And then I do some silence time. And then I say hi to the kids, give them some breakfast. And then I get out of there and I do content. That's the new flow.
That's good flow.
Meetings
That's good
in the
flow.
afternoon.
Okay, let me tell you about some. Well, okay, first, New Year's resolutions are a little bit pesky because people, and I've fallen into this trap where you make these lofty goals. Like, I have the goal to be a famous person or a millionaire or a this, that, the other, and you just kind of move in that direction. I don't think that's necessarily healthy. I think it's a lot easier and a lot more healthy just to look to the left and right of you and say, okay, what did I like about my life last year? And what do I want to do more of? And what would I like to do less of? So I can just kind of incrementally move in that thing and not stress me the hell out, because it can snowball too far. Anyway, so
you feel pressure or something from the goal being too lofty?
yeah, it just doesn't seem as actionable as these ones. These ones will probably get you to those goals. Like, let's say your goal is to become a famous actor, right? If your goal is to become a famous actor, that's fine.
Which
But
it
if
is. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's why we're both
Yeah.
here. But if your goal is to just act every single day, you will probably become a famous actor, and it's a lot more actionable. Like, to find something for you to act in, right? So instead of reaching for these things, reach for the things that are going to do the building blocks and feel better about them anyways. Anyway, so
So tell
last
me
year-
your approach.
last year, I did a lot of things. So last year, I started a business with you.
Yep.
And was involved with many other ventures, and I loved that. So I'm going to do more of that.
Okay.
All in on that. Last year, I had just quit my job, and I didn't go back to that kind of work life. Never doing that again. This is great. I much prefer this lifestyle.
Never doing that again.
No, even though
You're a
last year I
changed
made less
man.
money. I will say that I made a significant amount less money.
Yeah.
However, I'm so much happier.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, money is shit compared to happiness.
Oh my gosh, it's so real. Then I have a few other things. I'd like to drink a little bit less because I feel like I'm not as productive as I usually could be.
Yep.
Things like that. But that's the thing. Oh, and vacation harder. That was the other one.
You want to vacation harder.
Yeah, way harder. Not necessarily
Oh.
more vacations. Just when I vacation, I want to go freaking hard.
What does going hard on vacation mean to you?
Like traveling. Like, vacation is inspiring and it fills me up with new ideas. And in order for that to happen, I think it's best to put yourself in a spot that you don't usually go.
So you want to explore places you've
exploring.
not seen.
Yeah, exploring is probably a better word.
Going hard.
Going hard.
Exploring. Like
That's it.
Cortez?
Yeah, like Cortez. Oh yeah, actually, I definitely want to do. There's this trail in I don't think that was Cortez, but in Spain, what is it? The Camino. Have you heard of this? It's like 30 days of walking. It could start anywhere. I'd love to do that one of those days. It's just a
30 days
30-day
of
hike.
walking?
Yeah, all the way across Spain. It's so much fun. Anyways, bro, so New Year's happened. I got submitted a bunch of ideas. Can I toss to you my 3 top ideas that somebody submitted to me, and I want you to tell me if you think they were awesome or not. Okay.
Am I allowed to say if I genuinely think it's awful?
Yeah, these ones were, I thought these ones were fun, and I loved it. Okay.
All right.
Number 1 that I loved was Brew for You. It was a beer delivery service for parties and tailgates. That's it.
Okay. Just a delivery service.
Yeah, you have a party and tailgate, they will deliver it for you. It's kind of like Uber Eats or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of these events businesses. Like you can get that from Reading Tents and Events. But
like they specialize. Let's say you go over to any football, baseball, any game like that, and they just drive around with a big old truck.
Yep.
And they got it for you.
The beer truck.
Yeah, I think that would be super fun. That'd be really fun business to do. Okay, second business that I thought was pretty dope. Bob Kastick. He said, an app that tells you or texts you if you need to come home or some type of message to get you out of an awkward situation. So think of it like you're on a bad first date.
Yeah, so it's your get out of jail free card.
I loved that idea. And then this is kind of a really easy one.
That idea is not a business though. That's a feature. Anyways.
Yeah.
It's a good feature though. It's funny. I don't think that ever makes money.
That was my concern with that one as well. Okay, this next business idea is the most tried and true, and I still think it's one of the best things you can do if you have some extra money. It's just secondhand vending machines.
Secondhand vending machines?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're selling them? Or you're renting them?
You use them. You buy them and you use them.
You buy them and you charge people for Hershey bars?
Yeah.
Okay. So a vending machine business, but you bought them used?
Yeah. I mean, it's tried and true. Do you still think that they're good?
I think they're... No, I don't.
No.
I don't. I think that there's a lot of hype around them right now because they're a good example of a business that take up physical space already, and you can buy one and it already has the distribution in place. So if you buy one that's already at these 72 hotels, you buy a business that has 72 of these.
Yeah.
Then I think that can cash flow nicely because it's very predictable. You know what the foot traffic is in those areas, but you don't have to make hundreds or thousands of cold calls trying to convince people that you're going to put a vending machine in.
Yeah, the cold calls would be hard.
It would be hard to get up off the ground. There's a lot of easier ways to make money.
I do think, I think there's a really good opportunity for ATM machines if you go to old-timey places that people don't really care. Like, think of an old person's barbershop. And they're like, we don't really care. Yeah, sure.
Heck yeah.
Go for it.
So I don't know if anybody's noticed this before, but generally, those places that are cash only but have an ATM in the lobby, it's a tax avoidance thing. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not
totally.
actually because they don't want to pay the 3.2% to Visa. It's everybody blames it on that. They pay the 3.2% over there at the ATM machine. No, it's because that they just want to pay their workers in cash, and they want to report what they want to report to the IRS. And it's pretty much impossible for the IRS to catch them.
Oh, it's totally impossible.
It's not auditable. Yeah, I guess they could audit that ATM, but that belongs to a bank, so the IRS can't really do it.
No, it'd be completely impossible. They'd have to literally have somebody sitting there watching the transactions, the physical hands. Yeah, that'd be bad.
I paid for pizza in cash while we were getting our Christmas tree, and it was in Shingletown.
Oh yeah.
And they did not take cards, and they had an ATM over there, at the bar next door.
And it's a ratty old place, but the guy pulls in with his nice Porsche, and you're like, I know what's going on here.
This is the watering hole for Bob and his Corvettes.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so those are those ideas. I don't know if you have any ideas. I believe you do.
Let's do this. So I think that people with good credit scores can be co-signers for cash. I think there should be a little marketplace or hey, I am willing to co-sign for you if the house that we're co-signing for or the car is acceptable and the equity position is acceptable, and you pay me $200 a month. I'm going to get you a mortgage, right? I'm going to go onto your title. We're going to co-own and co-sign. So you could co-sign and co-own the house. I did this before with somebody.
Yeah.
And so if the other person walks away, you still have the house.
Yeah, so this would be easier with a house than it would be with a car. Although a lot more money.
Yeah, car. you can risk mitigate the
Yeah.
like based on the amount you're getting paid. So like, would you rather have $200 a month for a mortgage or $200 a month for a car? Now the car is riskier. You might
Yeah.
never get it back, but maybe you've been paid that $200 a month for a while. I don't know. It's a coin flip.
This is so tough.
Yeah.
I love it and I hate this.
It's like small time investor syndrome. It's like, well, you guys are priced out of all the good investments. So you have a good credit score though. And just by signing here, you just get mailbox money. It's sharing risk with another middle class human.
it would affect your ability to get loans in the future though.
If it went belly up, heck yeah. So
Or
you'd
even
have
if
to
it didn't go
underwrite
belly
somebody.
out. If you're like, well, now I have 5 houses that I don't really own, but I guess I kind of own. You couldn't really just go get a 6th of that
Okay,
easily.
so we could pivot the model. So instead of doing this for a stranger, you do this for friends and family only, people that you're comfortable with them paying their bill. And then the platform just makes it really easy to keep track of everything really well and keep the communication lines really clean.
Yeah.
And it's auditable so that it doesn't harm your relationship. But then
Dude,
the platform takes a much smaller cut because
This
it's
is
friends
actually
and family.
good. No. If it's auditable and it's on the platform, because I know a lot of people have been in this position where they want to help out family
Yep.
members. However, they don't want
But
to.
it's messy.
It's messy.
Yep.
So if it's on a platform
Yep.
and it's like, I'm so sorry, the platform dropped us,
Yep.
then they have somebody to blame
Yep.
and you can retain the relationship, which is way more important than your $200 a month
Right.
or
Right.
their ability to get the loan.
And I think there should be like a some type of a fee. It's not $200 anymore if we're pivoting to friends and family, but like some type of a fee where they get an incentive for just being the co-signer. So somebody did this for me when I was younger, and I wanted them to make money from helping me get a house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to squeeze everything I could out of the deal. So the platform kind of gives you this neutral land to coordinate around.
Dude, I actually kind of like this idea. I don't think I would do it if I had. I don't think I would do it much. Imagine if you do this 10 times. Oh man, you are pretty exposed.
You can't do it 10 times because the credit, it'll show on your credit. So they won't let you get 10 car loans, right? So the co-signer, this is using up some of your credit worthiness, unless you're very wealthy. But yeah, I just think a clean way to help friends and family help each other. And even some like service around unbundling the mess at the end if it doesn't go well,
Yes.
right? So a little bit of an insurance policy there would be really helpful.
I love that idea actually. Especially the cleanliness of helping people.
What do you think about this? So, well, you don't have kids. I never have good kids ideas for you because
Because I don't have kids.
you don't
Hit me
feel
anyways.
it.
I want to try.
Okay, do you remember being a child and every time you went to like Burger King or McDonald's with a big play place, it's just dopamine city. It's just like I can go hit my head on that plastic thing and it won't hurt.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I can climb. This net is going to hold me. These balls are really fun. You get the same feeling when it's at home, right? You can still get those materials. There's like a vinyl that's Chuck E. Cheese colors. The problem is at home, we don't have storage space to actually make these nice play place areas. So we get little cheap toys. I think somebody could kind of be the long-term brand, like the Apple of these kids' toys, where you start them young. So my youngest is not even 1 yet, and we could get him a ball, but that ball is going to have uses when he's 3 and 7 and 12. As we go at each age, we can get different nice toys that all interlock and fit together. They're all built to a standard, just like construction materials would, but they'd be those play place type of aesthetics, but maybe more pastel than deep red. But I feel like these toys, the reason why we don't buy them for our kids is space. But the space issue is solved if it's usable over time, like Tetris or puzzle pieces, and that can be disassembled, reassembled, and made new shapes. So we can make forts, and we can make houses, and we can make jumping mats, and we can make ball pits, and we can make kids' hammocks, and we can make kids' basketball stuff. Anything like in the kids' room that could morph. It's Legos.
Okay, I love
Soft
it.
Legos.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I think it's fantastic. If I was a kid, I would eat that up. There is one huge problem here.
Tell me.
And it's liability.
No.
They can build a fortress and then they fall off that fortress and then they do that. How you could get around it is if it was maybe not strong enough to hold like 100 pounds, but strong enough to hold 50 so that your kids aren't going to get up on there. Or maybe 50, but not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hear you, but how do the bunk bed companies get away from it with it?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
I'm not
they're
worried about
literally,
it. I mean, it's play at your own risk.
I would love it. You're gonna have a lawsuit at some point.
Yeah, every toy manufacturer has lawsuits.
Sure. Maybe more so than other toy companies, right? Like,
Because you can make things and jump off of them.
yeah,
But isn't that
exactly.
awesome?
It is so awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what I totally did growing up all the time.
We did that
constantly.
anyways. Like jump off this roof into this bush.
If we weren't able to jump off of it, then that would only increase the desire to
you
jump off
wanted-
it. Yeah,
yeah.
all I would want to do is do that.
So I feel like I'm happy to spend $50 and $80 and $120 at a time on birthdays and Christmas presents, but I want to be adding to a collection of something that gets better with time, not like just depreciating toys until it's in the junk pile.
Okay, this would be really hard to do because typically with something like that, I would look to order overseas from China. However, this is a big enough thing that would be,
Make this in America.
yeah, you'd have to make it in America.
Yep.
Shipping would be awful.
Yep, correct. And I do think there's a lot of the collapsible design. I mean, think about IKEA, right? I think I'm just describing like soft IKEA stuff
Yeah.
for kids,
Baby IKEA.
right? It can just keep, I think some of it could be wall anchored. Studs are 16 on center, so like it could have little screw holes behind the foam that's ready 16 inches apart. I think you can do it, but all the tolerances would have to be perfectly made, and you'd want to do it in small runs, kind of like Tesla makes small runs of cars. They do it. I don't know if you knew that, but right, Tesla does not mass produce like
don't?
GMC. No.
No, I did not know that.
All right, so new segment: how Tesla makes cars different.
Please, yeah.
This kind of blew my mind when I first heard about it, but essentially the problem with all the big car manufacturers right now that Elon Musk is trying to solve or is solving is that they'd have to release a whole year of a line of cars just to make it cheap enough to sell at a profit, right? They'd have to get all,
I get it.
300,000 dashboards.
Yeah.
So if design is always evolving, Elon Musk was like, well, what if we make our robot, line workers, and we're mostly a tech business. So I could actually just print a new little VIN on this dashboard and say, this is the March model, not the 2022 model. This is the March model. So like it's evolving. So you don't have the same Tesla as somebody who bought it 4 months ago. They're constantly turning over and then they're making improvements. They learn about a mistake. Yeah. They do not have to recall 300,000 cars because they messed up on a screw.
Dude, that's pretty cool. Did I ever tell you that my roommate was really good friends with a Tesla engineer. And so he stayed at our house for the weekend, and we just stayed up so late every single night just talking about engineering and stuff like that.
That's cool.
This is how nerdy he was. He brought a 3D printer, and so the whole weekend we're just 3D printing fun designs and things like that. And so I asked him, like, what's your job like at Tesla? And he's like, dude, it's so much fun. However, you have to innovate or you get fired. Yeah, this is kind of crazy. Which he had no problem with it because he just genuinely loved his job. He's like, oh, I'm constantly 3D printing new things to kind of fix this production line so I can change this and move this here. And it's just tiny little tweaks that make it ever so slightly better. And I was like, how much money do you think you've saved this year for the company? He's like, I don't know. It's like March, and I think I've saved like probably $700,000 of just manufacturing.
Sure.
Like it's pretty impressive. Just the little things, and they just do it every single day. They add up, which is really fun.
That's the opposite of the military. I have a buddy in the military who goes and blows up robots all the time.
Oh, nice.
And he's like, this one broke. I need a new one. He's an EOD, but
is it like they don't want you to innovate in the military?
They don't want you. They also don't want you to break $200,000 robots.
Oh gosh.
But you don't get punished. There's no you're fired.
I know.
That doesn't exist.
I would argue that's
He's just like, oops,
problem.
I was doing my job and it broke. It's liability.
I have a few problems with that. And we've all heard 1,000 versions of that with a lot of that stuff. A lot of it has to do with the military too. It's so sad. Oh my gosh.
So I think I want to move on from the kids' toys and from Elon Musk. And I want to talk about this wave of content creators, but the kids, the like young ones, the Gen Z. Is there another generation that's an adult now?
No.
Whatever we call the next ones. But the people who are like graduating high school to 25 right now, this generation, I've started to get to know more of them. It is crazy how focused they are on content. And I'm really nervous for 15 years from now or 10 years from now when the mass majority of these people were chasing stuff like this
Yeah.
and not learning normal skills to contribute to our economy.
Yeah.
We can only talk about things until it's just an echo chamber so much. And we have to have this middle productivity for us to even have an economy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of nervous for our economy.
Are you thinking like blue collar jobs are going to go like higher in demand and lower in supply?
It's not just blue collar jobs. It's all of them. Like even how to write a good email is being skipped. Like it's basic skills that you would learn.
Well, okay,
you're focused on like the next algorithm change, the new platform. What is it now?
It's tough though because a lot of those skills. I grew up having to learn cursive. I've never used it once.
Yeah, true.
And I also grew up learning how to do math, and everybody's like, "You're never going to use that." I use it every freaking day. It's weird because the things that you don't think you need and you do need.
But not just education. So now you graduate this fictional person in my head right now.
Yep.
And they're 20 now, and they're trying to do content. Maybe they're even doing it decently. And how are they paying their bills? They're like getting whatever minimum wage job they can, or they're staying longer with mom and dad. I feel like it's going to hit a bubble, right? Right now it's a boom. I would say content is on a boom. There's going to be a bubble. So I know we're still in the boom. So I don't want to be that guy, but I am that guy. And it's going to pop, and we're not going to have the average productivity worker. Therefore, it's harder and harder to build on top of the skills of an average worker. I don't know what it's going to be like. I mean, AI is going to come and create some productivity and wealth, maybe at the same timing. So that'll be interesting.
I agree with this. This is going to be kind of tough. Think of this. When you write emails right now, you probably don't care about using the correct word form of your and all that stuff. Because if you mess up, the computer will tell you, right? You'll get there. And you'll figure it out.
I do care about correcting it before I click send.
Definitely. You're right. Absolutely. I take that back. I care about that a lot as well. I don't see a lot of Gen Zers caring about that.
I know.
And it drives me insane, man.
It makes me go, you're just, you're inviting judgment upon yourself.
Oh,
people will judge.
People know exactly how old you are and things like that. However, it's tough because it's going there, and we did it. I'm trying to think of an example.
No, we worked our butts off through that period of our lives.
But we worked our butts off in different ways. And also, how I work my butt off right now, my father would never say like, "Yeah, I thought that would happen." Like it's weird, nebulous stuff. It's hard to define. Do you see a lack of hustle in that generation? Oh, this is harsh. We're gonna get.
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, I like the way that you phrased that. A lack of hustle. We're artificially wealthy. I don't even know if it's artificial. We're just like really, really wealthy as a generation, or the generation beneath us is detached from the amount they have versus the amount they had to give back to society to get it. And that creates, that's an economics problem. That's not a social issue. That's not a politics statement. This is like an economics issue. So I'm kind of nervous for 10, 15 years from now. Like, dare I say, other countries will out hustle us over the next 10, 15 years, and we will not be the dominant economy. It'd be really interesting to see where this goes. Now, AI and automation tools, tech, they do step in and kind of solve some of this. Because in a sense, you can get away with not being as busy or as productive and still produce, given those tech tools. But there's also going to be a bubble of people overusing that too, right? So that will, like the early adopters or the first 20% will be on top there. What about the people who didn't quite win that race? I think about it like this, like there are people who got into crypto a hair too late, or 2 hairs too late. They're the ones who lost everything. There are people who are getting into AI, 2 years from now, they'll be like a hair too late. When it's like huge on CNN, it's too late.
Yeah.
Like there are people who got into social media marketing a hair too late. Now, this stuff always evolves. SEO would be another one. But there's these booms of big tech that makes a big dent in the economy. And there's years of adoption.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But if you're a little late, then you get super hyped on it. You go pay for school. I know friends who just spent tens of thousands of dollars to go be a developer. What if AI in a year or 2 years makes it so those developers get code written for them?
Dude.
And what they should have been learning is not how to write code, but how to be creative.
No, or how to manage.
How to manage, yeah. How to design, how to architect, it's building, it's conceptual, it's organization, it's not technical skill.
Okay, yes, I do think there's a huge point to be made. The 90% of all money is made in the 10% of the first innovation, right? So tech, whatever new tech boom it is, 90% of the money's made in the first 10% of time in that movement, right? So I would almost say
I don't understand that.
Where AI is right now. It's the AI gold rush, right?
But it doesn't make any money yet.
Yeah, you're right. But if you're in right now, you're probably going to make...
Those people are the people who will ride it.
Yeah, they're going to make 90% of it.
Yeah.
My mother, who gets into it in 2 years, probably won't.
Right.
You know what I mean? If somebody wants to start an AI business in 2 years from now, I don't think it's going to make a ton of money. But if you start it right now, I think it'll probably do okay.
Yeah. I do have good news.
Yeah.
So if you get into a business thinking something is really like easy money and you're wrong, the fact that you're trying it all and that you believed the lie that this is going to be easy money, and then you get in, if at that point you just work hard, you are ahead of like 70 or 80% of workers anyways. And the way an economy works, that will give you a return on your money, just because at that time you will be very hardworking, very stressed because you were wrong and you went all in on something. So there is something to say for like, I went all in and I was wrong, but I'm here now. And so you catch up. So I do think that is a dynamic. I don't think people should give up.
Oh, I so agree.
But they aren't going to catch the wave that they thought they were catching.
Oh my gosh, I so agree. Okay, you talked about learning, things like that.
Yeah.
And a little bit of our gripes with the Gen Z, which is so sad because I feel like everybody has gripes with Gen Z, and it's so easy.
But here's what I love about Gen Z.
Oh, please go for it.
Yeah, we gripe a lot, but I freaking love that they don't care.
Oh, really?
Right? We grew up in a generation like it was I care about whatever, this achievement, or I want to go be an actor in Hollywood or whatever. I want to be a banker. I don't see the drive in most of Gen Z. Like, by the numbers, I know there are outliers and I'm wrong about a whole bunch of people, but like in the middle of it, I see people have accepted this is our society and let's make it better. And so they aim at social things. They aim at, there's an entitlement, right? So we call the negative word is an entitlement, but the positive side of entitlement is like, yeah, I'm just not going to give up my boundary on that. So it's boundaries or is it entitlement?
That's tough. Okay, you know what I've noticed? Every single Gen Zer, when I ask them what they want to be, the most thing I hear is an influencer.
Yeah.
Which
the studies also prove that.
Drives me insane, which I kind of hate. Because I feel like you have to do something to be an influencer. But I mean, Mr. Beast is what, 24, and he's not.
You don't have to.
Yeah, he's not doing anything besides making awesome videos.
It'll be different. In the future, that will change, right?
Okay, I'm going to make a claim. What do you think about this? You had a friend who went to college, all these things, all these Gen Zers. The only thing, the most important thing you have to learn throughout your teens and your 20s is just how to learn something.
Yeah, the skill of how to learn is the most important thing.
And you can learn that through anything. If you play chess, if you learn an instrument, if you learn how to start a business.
Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda. If you get stuck and then you're the person who can unstuck yourself, you can transfer that into anything that you do. And that's worth way more than a college degree, worth way more than an investment. It is worth your salt. I'm
so with you.
You with me on that one?
I'm so with you. Yeah, so I have 5 kids, and the number one goal I have for their junior high and high school years is that we expose them to different things that they might like, that they might want to do.
That's great.
And I'm not pushing them. So my son gave up on trumpet. So then he tried clarinet. He gave up on clarinet. Now he's trying piano, right? He still likes piano. We're just going to try things and we're going to make him try things. So that's, the line is, you don't get to not try at anything.
Yeah.
You get to try all these things. So we're doing flipping Pokemon cards on eBay.
Which I love that you're doing that. That's so cool.
And then the younger ones too, like my 7-year-old was playing Zelda yesterday, and she goes, "Dad, all you have to do to solve this maze is put this ball in this part and then go over here and pull this lever, and then you have to wait 3 seconds, and then you got to freeze this. And if you press down over on the deep," like she had these complex instructions stuck in her head of how to solve this Zelda maze. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the video game is teaching her how to hold in her head like a solution that she had to work very hard to, like brick by brick, to try. I think that tenacity that it takes to learn something like that in a video game, it applies to everyday life.
It's so good. The only issue with that is you're learning how to be creative within parameters.
Yep.
And if you take down those walls, you're a superhero if you're able to do that.
Take down the parameters?
Yeah.
Oh my
if
gosh.
you're like, wait, I can literally do anything. And that's an anxiety-inducing thing.
It's so much anxiety. Yeah, I think the good news is most of life has parameters. So people who live out their programming, they do get
This
more
is why college
creativity.
is great if you just want to be a passenger.
Yeah, I think if you deconstruct every little part of life, and I'm guilty of doing this, like trying to re-engineer everything, then you end up being sluggish on many things. You have too much anxiety. You might be able to think flexibly, but you don't get to get the benefits of, like, if I believed this box was real, then I could be creative within this box and like get a skill.
Dude, you know, anxiety is like so closely related to a presence of opportunity. Like if you are in a job and you know exactly your path from here to there, you are less anxious than the person who has a lot of money in their account and they're like, what should I do?
Yeah, right. I had a moment last year where I was looking forward to 2023, and I realized that if I get what I want, I will be very anxious and stressed.
Really?
If I get all the good things.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I went to all the good things. Okay, I want this to happen. I want to be doing this. I want our numbers to be up here. I want our team size to grow. And I realized all I did was just describe 6 or 7 changes that are pretty significant. And I will have to then adapt to the new form that I find the company and myself and my family in. And any type of major change like that is anxious because you've never been here before. You're not good at it. So it's the great irony of like getting what you want forces you now to have to keep up with what you got. And you've never been here before. It is a stressful endeavor to succeed.
Yeah, that sounds stressful. Okay, Kendall, I want to go through it. So here's what I did last year. I had a big old sheet where I made a bunch of ideas. Here, I'll show you.
And I was like, sheet.
I know that's not.
Sunset
Look,
on
so
a
here it is. You just go through here. These are all ideas. And I started going through it. And
That's a lot.
It was a lot.
Are we in the hundreds? We're at 400?
463 from last year.
Shout out to Airtable.
Shout out to Airtable. Dude. Okay, so I'm going to go through really, really fast. 14 ideas.
Okay.
That I only could get through the first 25%. And I thought, okay, these were 14 good ones. And I want you to tell me good or bad and why really fast.
Okay, good, bad, why? Let's do this.
Okay. The first idea that I loved from last year was the throttle your internet plugin.
It's complex, so I wouldn't do this one, but I like the concept. I would find a different form.
Got it. Okay. pH measuring water bottle.
I did like that one. That is a very good one for the niche of people who cares.
I love that idea. And I think it's so
pH
makeable.
measuring water bottle.
Such
Somebody
a cool
make that.
Please somebody make that. Okay. Mint sheets. They cool the bed
I
for you.
love that. Mint sheets.
I want that.
Aloe vera sheets?
I don't know. I want his and hers because I'm always hot. She's always not. You know.
I love this.
I
Yep.
know.
Yep.
Great. Okay.
Good business.
Plant seeds that are put into picture frames and then you water it and then it creates the picture that you want it to make.
Ooh, they do have things like this, but it makes a picture.
Yeah. So you go on the website, you say, you upload a photo and it gives you kind of like a black and white made in
I
plants. It's not
think that
going to
it
be perfect.
wouldn't be a good business. The reason is it's not really a niche. It's a gimmick. It's not a gimmick. It's a cool. It'll come and go, and you probably will not keep the money that you should have kept.
Yeah.
While you're ordering your inventory to keep up with your growth curve, then you'll hit your ceiling and you'll be
point.
stuck with inventory. You will never keep margin.
It's a really good idea. Okay. Picture toast. You burn like a grid of squares and you burn little pictures
That
inside.
is, no offense, but that's going to end up at Goodwill. That's where I'll be buying picture toast.
Yeah, but then you're going to be the guy like, hey, I made picture toast. Like that's awesome.
Bad business.
Okay,
cool,
bad business.
Cool little product though.
Okay. Red light fight. We get refunds for your red light tickets or you don't pay a thing.
Yeah. There are lawyers already doing this program doing that, and I think that they could advertise it better. They could market it more clearly, which is why people aren't aware that exists.
Okay. Here's something that does exist, but people don't use it enough. And I think if you had the ability to do this, this would be great. You would know exactly how to do this well, but just selling MLS listing abilities.
Yeah, I bought from somebody who did that.
Really?
Yeah, I paid him $500, and then I did a for sale by owner. Actually, it's fsbo.com.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And they will hook you up with a broker in your area who will just put your pictures on the MLS for you as a part of the flat fee, and then you handle everything.
That's great. So in case you don't know this, you can't sell your own house. You
can't post it.
You can't post it
on the MLS, yeah.
Which is a really dumb law.
MLSs are micro monopolies, and they're not a required thing to sell a house. They just are what all the agents check. It's very inbred. So Zillow is kind of disrupting this.
I love it. Okay. Warehouse VR.
Warehouse VR. So it's a warehouse you go into,
Mm-hmm.
and you can play lots of VR things.
Yeah, with all your friends, and it's huge. And it's like the next version of laser tag.
I think that'll be all about how good at throwing a party are you. If you're a very good party host, this is the business for you because it's low cost and it's high dollar per head.
Yeah.
You just have to help people have a good time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be all about the referee.
I love that. Okay. Human drugs, but marketed for fish so you can avoid the price and regulation problems.
Terrible business. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Also, it would work for the right gray character in the wrong country.
No, dude, I think it's a great business. Because,
Not for me.
No, I think it's necessary because there are problems with drugs where it's like, this is really good and we can't get it to these people who need it because it hasn't gone through FDA.
For sure.
But it's looking positive, and this person's on his deathbed and he doesn't care if it
Says
might not
the
work.
guy that thought there was too much liability in my kid's toy idea.
That's funny, yeah. That's
People will die.
No.
business.
Yeah, people will die, but
other
like they know
people
what they're
will
signing
live.
up for. Yeah, you're saying, hey, we don't know, but we know that
The
you need
tagline
to.
is for the greater good.
Oh Lord, that's awful. Okay, moving on. Digital political, a true popular vote political candidate.
Yeah, that one's sick.
I love that one.
This is just a blockchain authenticated, actual democratic vote.
And he's just an actor. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
He just exists. That'd be fun. Okay, ahead or behind, a website that you go to that just tells you if you're ahead or behind of the people next to you.
So if you can make that really fun, it would get shit tons of traffic.
I think I might do this one myself because this is.
I think
this
you
is
could do
very
that on your
doable.
list.
Yeah.
You got to do 11 more businesses next year.
I know. Yeah, I got to do a lot. Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. All my data, an app that tracks you and allows you to sell your data, however little or however much.
This is coming. This already is happening
Mm-hmm.
in small ways, but it's going to be a part of the big companies. So I would not pick up pennies in front of a steamroller.
Okay, that's good. And the last idea that I have, and I want your honest opinion, please shoot me straight. I think you should get together with your best friend and start a podcast talking about things that you like to talk about and see if you can make any money from it and have a good time while doing it. Good idea or bad idea?
I think that's a terrible idea.
That's really...
I don't like, every bro in his podcast.
Oh, shoot.
I don't think
Well, we
podcasts
suck,
are good
then.
businesses.
That's great. Kendall thought
So
we have a
with
bad
that,
business.
let's transition into, we have a few minutes to talk about the podcast numbers. Mm-hmm. All right. So
Did you go to TikTok? You want me to pull it up?
we have 27.8 thousand. So we have 27,000 TikTok followers. on TikTok, small clips have been seen. Maybe on average right now, we do like 1 million views a month. Would be about an
I
average.
think it's 2 million.
I think this month it
Oh,
was.
this month?
But
Okay.
yeah, on average, just looking at like the trailing 6 and averaging those out, there's a growth trend for sure, but it's hard to predict why and when the algorithm will pick up something.
True.
So that shocked me. That was bigger and faster than I thought. The podcast numbers is the opposite. I thought that we would be much farther in like our downloads. Like I think we're doing something to the effect of it's less than 1,000 downloads per episode. So it depends on what period of time. Like, are we talking about the first 7 days or the first 30 days of an episode? And it depends on which episode. But right now, there's not a lot of long form listeners, but it does grow linearly. I thought that one would compound, but I have not seen any compounding. It's just linear, slug it out growth. So anybody who is just starting a podcast, unless you're already known or you have a marketing strategy that is uncommon, from what I see in the studio that we rent from, what I hear from other podcasters, I'm in some communities, everybody just grinds it out, and it's just one of the hardest possible things to grow. Some better things to grow would be like an email newsletter. It'd be better to grow a Facebook community. It'd be better to grow, I think, an Instagram or a Twitter. LinkedIn, if you have kind of B2B content, those are better platforms than podcasting. But I don't actually treat this like we do a podcast. I treat this as like, this is our once a week ritual of making content. So that's how our machine works. So after this episode, our editor will take the 1 hour discussion, clip it up into 10 to 14 little clips, put those on TikTok or put those into a Google folder. And then our social media manager will go in and pick her favorites, and she will schedule them out. And we try to do 2 a day on Instagram Reels and TikTok and YouTube Shorts, or we might have stopped that one. And then the full episode goes on YouTube and Spotify and the RSS feed. That baseline of content has given us the ability to go have a low enough effort and a high enough presence to where we have choices. So what we do with this next year will make all the difference. So I feel like we just got the platform built. This is the stabilized, it's growing, but it's kind of linear growth. Now how we make revenue from that and what choices we make will make all the difference. So I think if somebody wants to take it seriously as a business, it's a very good business if you do all of the things. But if you're alone with your buddy, it's a shit ton of work. I don't think you can do the editing. I don't think you can do the posting. I don't think you can do the content.
Okay, so I've been decently involved in terms of helping people with their production to build their podcast. I think 5 by now. And
you've done 5 podcasts?
Like I've helped them build it, right? And then, I'm not involved with them anymore.
Right.
None of them succeeded. The only one that has succeeded is us. And I wouldn't say that our podcast has succeeded. I would say our TikTok has succeeded.
Right. I'd say our content is succeeding. So the private community is growing. That's growing every week. The Instagram is growing. It's just slower. The YouTube is growing. It's just slower. The podcast is growing. It's just slower. So if we do this for 5 years,
it'd be great.
It will hit some, and we learn so much.
Oh my gosh.
So
yes.
I feel like just because we've done this ritual now for like 8 months or something, we have learned so much. Like every 30 days, we know something new that we would have done differently. And that's where all the value is. So if we just stay in it, we will keep picking up on the best ways to get value, as long as 2 things are true. We want value and we have the free time to execute. So if we want more value from it, because some people hit their ceiling and they're like, they don't even want more.
Yeah.
I see that happen with successful podcasters. Other people hit their ceiling, they want more, and they have no time. So it's actually a capacity. They've filled up all their capacity. So if we were doing all the steps ourselves and not paying other people to do it, I think we would have burned out by now.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. However, if you are going to do a podcast and you're with your friend, and you are just literally recording the audio and posting it, that can be a lot of fun, and you can learn a lot about yourself. Because if you listen back, it changes you, and it's humbling,
Yeah.
but it's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have something crazy to talk about,
Yeah.
I don't know. So can we get into, I think there are a lot of people interested in that though. So
Yeah.
can we list out for people listening what our gear is? We should just go over the gear.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So pointing at things in the room, what are these lights?
Okay, so these are,
Got two of them.
I think they're Godox lights. Essentially, okay, so I have a bit of a production background, so this is how it goes. So we have giant lights with soft boxes. Those lights cost about $200 each. With the soft box, that costs about $50. So that's 250 plus 250. Then we have these Blackmagic 4K cameras, which we are now upgrading because they have a bad
autofocus?
The autofocus doesn't exist on them, which is such a huge bummer.
Okay.
Such a bummer. So Kendall and I are going to be a little bit more remote in the new year, and so that means we will have to do a little bit of our own setup, and you can't really look at the screen while looking at yourself, and so it gets a little bit complicated. But
how much is the camera?
This one right there, that's $1,000 camera.
Okay. How much is the lens?
That could be anywhere between $100 to $300. You get what you pay for.
Okay.
For sure.
And then how much is a tripod?
About $75.
How much are the cables?
Ooh, another $50.
Okay. So we're at like $1,500 maybe.
Plus
and then
one.
if you got a newer camera, it'd be add another 1,000 or something.
Yeah.
So 1,500 to 2,500.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can get it done with that.
Do people need 3? Could you do it with 1?
You could do it with 1. 1 is not good for TikTok because TikTok you have to be like pretty centered.
You
gotta
can't.
have 2. Yeah.
Because I don't think you should.
Yeah,
by my definition, I don't think you should.
Sure. And then we're using really fancy microphones as well. We're using SM7B microphones, which these are about $500 each, $400 now, I think.
Yeah, SM7B. Though that's the industry standard. That's like,
yeah,
you always see this shape, and it looks like that on the back of those are the ones.
It feels like if you don't have this microphone, then subconsciously I get the impression that people are like, oh, well, then you're not that big.
So what did I just pull off here?
It's a Rolls PM50 or something like that.
Okay, so
that's not that important. That is just
like being able to turn you up and turn me up.
Yeah.
That's a nice feature right here at where
that gets complicated. If you want me to build you out a studio, give me a call and I can help you do that.
Okay, so all right, so you don't need that for your home one. That's okay, got it.
Don't do that at home.
And then we're using Blackmagic switching gear. That's another $1,500. So that somebody can live switch. Mm-hmm. So the math here is if somebody presses spacebar and switches cameras while we're live, then they don't have to sit behind Adobe Premiere and go merge all the audio, merge all the video, and then kind of pick which person's talking and then cut to that video because there will be 3 video feeds, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and 2 audios. So if we didn't use that, there would be 2 audio tracks and 3 video tracks.
Which it's a doable process. It's just not enjoyable.
How long does it take?
You could get it down to an hour and a half for a 1-hour podcast if you're real fast.
Okay. What if you're just getting started and you're gonna do it yourself?
Oh, first day would take you 6 hours, second day 4 hours, third day 3 hours. You know,
okay, not too bad. Not too bad. And then what about if you're doing the switching thing?
Then it's just real time. It's done as soon as we're done. Like
and
literally as soon as we're done right here,
okay.
Our producer, Jeffrey, could just like, boom, toss it up there.
Right. Except for then we're going to go in and we're going to grab the TikTok clips.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
So would you say it saves half the editing time if you're doing the TikTok strategy and the Instagram Reels?
Ooh, I mean, that's just how you want to slice toast. How we're doing it, honestly, we could do it separately and it'd be fine.
Okay.
Maybe we should ask our producer at some point.
Give
me a thumbs up if you like our process or a thumbs down if you hate it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he hates it.
That was a big thumbs up. Headphones, these are like $30.
Yeah, pretty cheap.
No big deal. Get yourself a nice table, nice chair.
Yeah, the look, the aesthetic is a huge part of it. I mean, if you want to say table costs money, TV costs money, this costs nothing. You got it for me.
Oh, wait. On the mics, you have to get your cloud lifter.
Yep.
And your computer interface. If you're going to switch, if you're not going to do all the studio gear, you got to at least get your interface and your cloud lifter. So our microphone per person is microphone, stand, cloud lifter, cable, another cable into the interface, and that little setup is $750.
It's a big list. And if the day comes and you're like, shoot, I don't know how to do this, just shoot me a message and I'll help you like easy
shoot
it
us
out.
a Instagram message and leave us a review. If you don't leave us a review, damn it, we are not giving you this list.
Yeah, we're lacking on the reviews.
Yeah. Give us a stupid review and then we'll give you a Google Sheet list. We got to make that
whatever you
anyways.
want. Yeah, I know, it's true. Yeah, we'll do something like that.
Okay.
I think that's it right now. Be excited. We have a lot of good things that we're wanting to do this new year. Keep on following us, follow the train. We want to start some businesses, ideas. We're probably going to fail some businesses, and we'll let you in on the process.
No, we're going to make really good margin on several of these this year.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Next episode, let's go over our tech lists. We both use different tech tools.
Oh, yeah.
Software, subscriptions, things like that. I want to come in ready to give those away because I've spent like 15 years trying dozens
and you pivot
dozens.
and you do things differently because
and
of
now
that.
I know how my tech stack works. Yep. And you do too.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
the show.
Deal. Bye.